Hey guys, I'm really excited to share my family's finished 2015 album that I made using Project Life. I shared a couple posts earlier this week with videos about how I make my books and order them through Blurb. So if you want to see more examples of step-by-steps of how I make my pages in the app or how I use Adobe Lightroom to design my books, check out some of those posts from earlier in the week. But today I'm going to jump into this finished book. So when I order my books through Blurb, I upgrade to the hardcover image wrap and the Proline uncoated paper. It is a thicker matte finish cardstock that is really nice, and I very much believe it's worth the upgrade. So this is my finished book. As you can see, great quality. The colors that come printed in the book look identical to what I see on my iPhone on the screen when I'm working in the app. I am very happy with the way that it prints out. Also, the text is very clear. So when I export my files from the app, I export as 12 by 12, which is the highest file size, and this is a 12 by 12 book, and as you can tell, it's perfectly printed. I mean, the quality is great. I used to do my Project Life pages in Photoshop before the app existed, and I'd say the quality that came out of Photoshop with the high resolution is the same as what I see out of the app. So, really happy with the way that Blurb prints my books. Let's jump into a few more pages. You can see these are some pretty bright and bold colors, and those print out really, really well. One thing that I like to do with my books is every couple of months I dedicate a whole week spread to just pictures from one day in our lives. So this was March 9th, and I use my big camera, but you could use your iPhone just as easily, and I take pictures of like really small moments in our lives, like Colin riding his bike, or Jill came with me to go get groceries. And they seem like such simple moments, and it seems weird to focus your whole week on just one day, but I love these pages. I love looking back. Now that this was last March, like Jill definitely does not sleep in this little car seat anymore. It's fun to look back and see these moments that were such a part of our everyday, but how dramatically it's changed in almost a year. I mean, he was such a little baby. So anyway, I definitely recommend that. I like doing that every couple months. One other thing that I talked about in my tips post earlier this week is using another external app to put text on top of photos when you have small things to say. So I usually only use one journaling card per page, and sometimes I want to focus it on, like, this was our story about going hiking in Mount Rainier. And this picture of Jill didn't really fit in. So I took the Over app, it's just called Over, and brought in this picture and typed Jill's first Little Gym class on there. And then when you bring it into Project Life, it already shows that on there. So that's one thing that I do when it doesn't necessarily work its way into a journaling card. One other tip that I shared in my post earlier this week is about photographing your kids' artwork and including it in your albums. So it just was perfect that this owl that Colin made matched the colors of this spread. So what I did is set down this project on top of just a white piece of foam core and took a picture with my iPhone, and it really showcases his artwork. It's one of my favorites, so I saved this piece of artwork, but with other ones I lay them down, photograph them, and then I throw them in the trash, and I don't feel as guilty because I have the photos to hold on to. One other thing I talked about was taking pictures of memorabilia. You would do that in the same way. So if you went to like a concert or a show and you wanted to take pictures of the program, you could do that. If you had something that was really special to you and you didn't want to throw away the physical copy, I don't really have a lot of stuff that would fall in that category because I'm pretty comfortable just taking a picture and saving the picture instead of the physical item. But if you had physical things that were very important to you, Becky sells these little envelope pages that are really thick and sturdy. They're meant to clip into the binders, but you could put a pretty strong adhesive on the back here and put it in the last page on the hardcover of your book. You wouldn't want to save anything too bulky because this book is pretty slim and it wouldn't really fit in if there's anything bulky, but I did this in Jill's baby book, and I saved copies of her ultrasound. Those are nice and thin, so you can see when that's closed. It does add a little bit of bulk there, so you wouldn't want to keep anything too big. in that pocket. But that's one idea if you have physical things that you've kind of accumulated over the year that you're not comfortable throwing away. So that's it. The finished family album for 2015. If you guys have any questions, feel free to shoot me a note or leave a comment on my blog. I love to talk about project life.